Yo, 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 what's good, everybody? Joey J. Ping here, checking in live, respectmyregion.com, back for another Monday morning episode of the Morning Joint podcast. It's a pleasure to be back with you guys. We've had a fantastic week of sports, music. The Grammys were yesterday. There's some exciting news in the world of cannabis. We have some exciting news. Um, Overall, it's just it's an interesting time in the world right now. So I'm excited to be breaking things down for y'all. Uh, Today's episode brought to you guys by the homies at Catalyst, the consumption lounge we have here in Hawthorne, California. Big shout out to their hospitality and for the stuff that and the collaborating that we're doing with them. Now, today's episode is going to have a couple different sections, folks. We're going to talk a little bit about the Grammys yesterday. There was some major news coming out of the Grammys last night. Bad Bunny and Kendrick Lamar and even Cher made a final appearance, which was great. And I watched a great performance from Reba McEntire last night, a great performance from Post Malone and to show respect to the great Ozzy Osbourne. But yeah, we're going to break down the Grammys, some of the performances, some of the wins, some of the key cultural moments. That's going to be a fun one for today's show. Trevor Noah killed it. The guy is absolutely hilarious. I wish can somebody pay him a ton of money so we can see him every day again? I think Trevor Noah is absolutely phenomenal. Again, we'll talk about Cher and what was up with her and what she did last night. We also have some new news from the world of rap and hip hop. You guys know I'm always staying up on what's going on in the music side of things. Again, more updates from Kendrick from last night. In the last literally just like last week, J. Cole surprised fans with a new EP, Birthday Blizzard 26, released to celebrate his 41st birthday. J. Cole is 41 years old, folks. Isn't that crazy? Standout tracks included freestyle over Diddy's Victory, instrumental, and a track called Bronx Zoo Freestyle, continuing Cole's public reconciliation arc with Kendrick. There's good music there, and it's worth watching. It's worth listening to. I have been bumping ASAP Rocky's Don't Be Dumb. That Stole Your Flow song goes crazy. Something like stole my flow, so I stole your bitch kind of thing. It's so funny. ASAP goes hard. That song slaps. The LP debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200, marking his strongest commercial performance in over a decade on the platform. What's notable here is the scope of collaborators, Brent Faiyaz to Gorillaz, in terms of like a range of the music. I thought that was pretty dope. To me, and to a lot of people, ASAP dropping Don't Be Dumb really reminded the world that album rollouts still anchor the genre. You can release singles and you can follow whatever plan you see. But the reality is that there's not truly a format for most artists, but album rollouts still anchor rap and hip hop. Say what you want. That's just a fact now. We covered YoungBoy Never Broke Again in his album. Back in January, he dropped his 9th studio album, Slime Cry, and was simultaneously celebrated as the most RIAA certified rapper of all time. Crazy because I can't sit here and name one YoungBoy Never Broke Again song for that guy to be the most RIAA certified rapper of all time. Heard the music, heard the beats. I've liked some stuff. I've enjoyed some stuff. I've listened to some of it multiple times, but I can't sit here and name one of them. And I think it shows generationally the differences, the quantitative differences between generations of fans. You got the OGs, you got millennials, you got everybody after millennials, and it's just interesting the consumption power of each of the generations, and I think that's crucial. Rolling Loud headlining slots combined with the plans for a European tour leg, as well as multiple project releases, have positioned YoungBoy with more momentum than almost any other current act. We got NLE Choppa coming at YoungBoy crazy. You got other artists that sleep or hate on it. Me, unbeknownst to most of the artists' success in music outside of what I research online and what I watch on Instagram and stuff like that. And the kid's just killing it. Kid's just killing it. Activity over aesthetics clearly seems to be the strategy. Make music, put it out. Make content, put it out. You got the fan base, put it out. They're consuming it, they're buying it. It's good for young boy. In other major news, Post Malone and Jelly Roll announced the Big Ass Stadium Tour, Part 2. We covered briefly Part 1 in a previous Morning Joint episode. But this one is huge because they announced the second leg of the Big Ass Stadium Tour for 2026, confirming another set of large stadium and festival dates across the United States and Canada. Post Malone and Jelly Roll. Crazy, but fire. It's going to be enjoyable. I hope to catch one of them. Dates include stops at Sun Bowl Stadium, Baton Rouge, Tampa Bay, Toronto, and more. Pre-states are already underway for Citi and American Express cardholders. This isn't a traditional rap tour. This isn't a traditional country tour or rock tour. Post Malone covers all these different genres of music. And so that's important. A few additional things to mention as we continue going through February and also 2026. We are anticipating some incoming albums from Megan Thee Stallion and Denzel Curry, as well as some others. So we will cover those. Keep your eyes and ears open. If there's anything you want insights on, let us know. But I think overall in that rap, hip hop realm, we're still seeing the major news coming from the likes of a Kendrick, coming from the likes, even the Grammys seemed to be a little bit more culturally focused and in line compared to years past. I like it. I'm here for it. I enjoyed what I watched last night. I enjoyed a lot more of it than I normally enjoyed, which I thought was quite interesting. When we think about Kendrick being the most awarded rapper of all time and overcoming Jay-Z, I think that's huge. J. Cole dropping his project, huge. Post Malone's stadium tour with Jelly Roll, huge. We're just seeing hip-hop's influence still overall be the commanding force that it is across music. And for that, we applaud that. I'm super excited to be watching Bad Bunny during the Super Bowl, and we will get to more of Bad Bunny here shortly as well. The Grammys were last night, folks. We're going to talk about that here next. Let's go over some of the major wins. I just touched on Bad Bunny. Album of the year, Bad Bunny, Debí tirar más fotos. Should have taken more pictures. Let's start with the biggest headline of the night. Album of the year went to Bad Bunny, the first Spanish language album ever to win that category at the Grammys. This was the right choice. This was the way it should go. This was the biggest album worldwide from last year. This was a breakaway moment for music globally. We continue to see how diverse the world is, and we continue to see the power of music and the hold it can have on us in a positive, inspirational, more fulfilling way. Bad Bunny's album dominated. It was, I think, 7 out of 10 of my top Spotify songs was Bad Bunny. And it was not just the 2 bangers, Baile Inolvidable and Nuevo Yo, or DTMF. It wasn't just those 3. There was 3 or 4 more on my top 10. And I don't even speak Spanish. And I found myself listening to those songs every day. It made me more proud to be a Latino. It made me more proud to want to learn Spanish. And I'll give that credit to Bad Bunny. And that's why we named my wiener dog Benito after Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny, Benito, during his acceptance speech, went on to say, "Ice out, which was the pins that everybody was wearing for the most part yesterday. They were wearing these pins with a message saying, ICE, we want you out, to some extent. And his speech became one of the most talked about moments of the night, right? Because he obviously just won Album of the Year. And right now in the world, you have the immigration control and enforcement going around the United States, enforcing immigration things and straight up questioning people off the street. If you look brown or black or your English isn't great and they hear it, they're questioning you. They're also doing a variety of other things, such as pulling weapons on people and shooting, and that's been happening all over the place. So it's not been a good time in the United States per the immigration control and enforcement group and what they're doing in our communities. So Bad Bunny came on and said, ICE out, we are not savages. We're not animals. We're not aliens. We are humans, and we are Americans. I think that's huge. I'm going to read it again. We're not savages. We're not animals. We're not aliens. We are humans and we're Americans. People come to this country, to live out their dream, to have a better life, to make more money. And a lot of people work hard. And it's crazy that we have ICE going and rounding people up straight up off the street. And friends of mine are scared, afraid to go for a walk with me. It's absolutely insane. That is a whole new level of feardom and trauma, and racism. It's fucking frustrating. Overall, this moment with Bad Bunny is going to be remembered not just as a Grammy win, but it just continues on the whole cultural shift that we're seeing, where diversity is celebrated, inclusivity for all, equality for all. We just got to continue pushing that message in that direction. Anything else except for those things is absolutely unacceptable. So if you're not a fan, we don't care. This is the mindset. People, we're humans first. We're not aliens, not savages, we're not animals. Humans, and we're Americans. It's crazy. Record of the year went to Kendrick Lamar and SZA for Luther, marking Kendrick's second consecutive win in this category. Luther was a defining song of the past year, both critically and culturally. The performance of this track on the charts and social conversations made it a front runner from early in the season. Lamar now sits alone with one of the strongest legacies in Grammy history, and this one continues a run that's made him one of the most awarded artists of all time. The Grammys were exciting last night. It was dope. There's been great music the last couple of years, and it really kind of culminated to what we're seeing here in 2025 in this Grammys that we just had. SZA's role can't be understated either. I mean, it's undeniable that she's absolutely blown up from being in the movie, that Netflix movie that also was in theaters. I'm going to say with Keke Palmer, that shit was hilarious. The music she's been dropping, it's just like everything her, everything TDE, everything Doechii, everything Kendrick is just killing it, you guys. She's moved from a breakout star to a central figure in mainstream music. I mean, she's gonna have at least, the way that R&B is looking right now and the music shift that we're seeing and the celebrating of women and the creators and the artists at a greater level. I don't see SZA going anywhere. I think you're getting more. I think she gets more and more famous. I think she gets more and more bigger, or more and more big. Her fan base grows and grows. This was definitely a career moment for her. And big shout out to both of them for winning Record of the Year for Luther. Now, the Grammys is a long show, folks, so we're going to break down Song of the Year here next. Billie Eilish and her brother Phineas with Wildflower. I found myself listening to this song too. It was crazy. There's certain things that just you find yourself gravitating towards when you hear it, and this was one of them. Lyrics, melody, structure. When also expanded Billie and Phineas's legacy in the songwriting canon. This was just a beautiful song. Sounded phenomenal. Highly recommend you guys go listen to that. Billie Eilish and Phineas, Wildflower. Olivia Dean won Best New Artist. This also wasn't a surprise. the category can be a flash in the pan, kind of fleeting, but ultimately I think Dean's work really had some staying power, great writing, consistent releases, and a sound that resonated globally. Um, this was an artist that I was overall unfamiliar with. It's like you hear the song and you don't know who it is, and unless it really stands out, you're not going to Shazam it or Spotify search it or Siri it or whatever it is. And I don't really find myself doing that whole experience, research experience as much as I used to. And so once I looked her up, it was dope to see some of her music, and then ultimately to win a Grammy as Best New Artist. Big congratulations. Um, Sustainable artistry is a theme. Consistency across communities. So like a global, like it's not just how did this artist perform in the United States, it's how do they perform in these different markets across the world, right? Some other key notable wins: Lady Gaga picked up major pop awards. Jelly Roll took home country honors. Lola Young won best solo performance, best pop solo performance. Behind the scenes circuit won producer of the year. Amy Allen took songwriter of the year. Performances that defined the night. On here, what I have down is Justin Bieber, shirtless in some boxers and some socks. Clips and Pharrell was fire. I also really enjoyed the Wyclef Fugees when he walked through the thing. That was great. Rose and Bruno Mars was another good one. I also really enjoyed Reba McEntire's performance and Post Malone's. There was the drummer from Red Hot Chili Peppers drumming, and then they also had Slash on the guitar, and then this other younger guy and another OG guitarist. That was just fire. I mean, I really found myself gravitating towards what was happening performance-wise, and because so much of the music that I listened to last year also was there, I thought that was super dope as well. Lefty Gunplay got on stage for their winning of TV Off, and thanked Kendrick for putting a Latino on. I thought that was super dope. Yeah, man, what a great Grammy night. But also too, a little bit of drama last night. The host was Trevor Noah, and he crushes it. He's hilarious. He opened with some great comedic riffs that reference cultural alliances and current kind of things going on. He went into a section of jokes about Nicki Minaj's reported association with Donald Trump. That's been quite extensive the last few weeks. But it's like no surprise at the same time. It's just like the velocity and like the seriousness of it and the gravity of it. She's been a Trump fan, and now it's like quite extensively much more and grown. And he delivered those jokes in a way that lit up the crowd and set a true tone for the rest of the evening. The clips are all over social. You're going to want to go check it out. He also delivered some additional commentary about powerful figures and topics such as Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. Again, the Epstein files have not been released. Like in total, full, open transparency, just I think 3.5 million documents were shared, most of which redacted or and still no charges. So just absolutely wild. His jokes ultimately implying a connection that drew a vehement public response. That response just being laughs. It was hilarious. There are photos of Trump and Epstein. There are documents and countless things, and it's just absolutely insanity for Trump to have then, after the Grammys, to have been watching it at 1 or 2 a.m. or whatever it is, and then to go start crazy not tweeting about it, but I think on Truth Social, his app platform that they created or whatever, ultimately denying the visit and threatening to sue Trevor Noah because of the jokes and the broadcast. That's just crazy, man. This kind of crossover from entertainment into political reaction is like, it's not new, but it's still so new because it's like, this is something that we're continuing to see Trump deal with. Like he just constantly responds to these comedians and these late night hosts. It's like, to be truthful, the position of president is so far above jokes that like just the responding of it is below the office at the end of the day. So I just find that that's absolutely crazy. But ultimately there was not just Trevor Noah making comments, as people like Bad Bunny and Billie Eilish both took time to make comments about ICE. One of the funniest moments of the night was Cher being on stage to receive her Lifetime Achievement Award. It was her first Grammy appearance in almost 20 years, specifically 18 of them. But she had an on stage situation where she like was talking and thanked everybody and uh, uh, was accepting uh, her Lifetime Achievement Award, and then she had to present the Record of the Year. And this really became a classic moment. I really enjoyed it. The moment was fantastic. She finished accepting her thing, and then she started to walk off the stage. And Trevor Noah had to call her back to finish the announcement of who would win Record of the Year. Who she then said Luther Vandross instead of its actual recipients, Kendrick Lamar and SZA. It was funny. We watched it in real time. It was pretty hilarious. What makes this more than just a flub is the tone. She was just goofy. It was an honest mistake. And it was obviously, you might be embarrassed for a fleeting moment, but it's Cher. So she laughed it off. The audience laughed with her, and then it became one of the night's most shared clips online. And it was something that I've watched a few times today. And so I really enjoyed it. What do we take from the 2026 Grammys? The music was phenomenal last year. There was really a lot of great art created, a lot of great music, a lot of great diverse music, new artists, new people rising and grinding and shining, and I love all that. I'm here for that. The ceremony didn't just celebrate music; it lived in the messy, powerful intersection of art, culture, conversation, what people are talking about, what people care about. It was discussed. Now, folks, we're going to transition over to my favorite section. Well, maybe my second favorite section. Before we get to sports, we're going to talk cannabis. Normally we start off with sports, but the Grammys being last night, it was just too big of a story. I really enjoyed what I saw. Big shout out to Post Malone and that Ozzy Osbourne tribute. That was cool. I loved listening to Reba as well, like I said. But in the last week, we've had some state cannabis and regulatory news shift. It looks like Texas might be ready soon to regulate hemp THC, potentially. Formal rules could be enacted as soon as 2027. The compounds found in hemp that produce psychoactive effects but are currently unregulated in many parts of the state. Ultimately, bipartisan lawmakers in Texas made headlines by shifting from prohibition towards regulation. State Senator Nathan Johnson, Democrat, and Representative Drew Darby, Republican, acknowledged that the market is too big to ignore and that prohibition hasn't worked. Lawmakers said the steep rise in consumer demand, especially for relief and therapeutic use, undercut the logic for outright bans and instead pointed towards regulation, tax revenue, and consumer protection as preferred avenues. The take here, folks, it's not legalized yet, but they want to regulate it instead of ban it. And once they legalize hemp THC, it's a slippery slope to cannabis. Let's go. Come on, Texas. The people need it. At the federal level, a bipartisan bill called the Hemp Act was introduced in the U.S. House to create a regulatory federal framework for hemp-derived products. This is something we've been talking about. I don't have any huge news. They're still working on it. Ultimately, it's interesting to see some of these states start to take formal direction, though. Connecticut, another one of the states, hemp industry struggles currently. And now with this uncertainty of this Hemp Act coming in down the line, it's like we need a strong foundation. We need something to be more stable, I think, at the end of the day. And we need our government to ultimately fall in line with what the culture and the community wants. Regulate it, tax it, give us a chance. All right. A recent proposal before Meriden Planning Commission would allow a third cannabis dispensary in the city by converting a vacant diner into a licensed retail location, complete with security plans and compliance with existing zoning rules. Connecticut retail growth is also continuing. They do have adult use retail in Connecticut, and they are trying to grow that and expand that. And it sounds like Meriden's Planning Commission is about to allow a third dispensary in the city. That's going to be huge. Now, as we continue, folks, we've seen some major news come out of Chicago recently. with the Chicago, I believe the United Center, allowing THC drinks in the stadium, home to the Bulls and the Blackhawks, hemp-derived THC available. The products are Senorita and Rhythm. This is the first rollout of its kind in any major U.S. stadium or arena. This is dope. It's an exciting time. Even with the pending Hemp Act, about to force potentially a lot of changes in the hemp space, this is major. It's major. One of the big stories coming out of Thailand, Southeast Asia, not all of the Asian countries are cannabis friendly. Thailand, one of them, but we're seeing some changes. Over 7,000 cannabis shops did not renew their licenses after a new regulatory regime made compliance far more difficult and financially untenable for many small operators. Only 1,300 approximately, only 1,300 shops opted to continue by adjusting operations under the stricter legal landscape. Thailand has shifted. It went from a headline making early legal market internationally to mass closures, showing that legalization doesn't guarantee longevity without a supportive business framework, both in the government and in the local community. This is major. We hope that other countries don't fall in line with what Thailand just did. 7,000 dispensaries opting to not renew their licenses. That is crazy. From the industry infrastructure side, compliance and banking tech for high-risk cannabis businesses still is causing issues. On my podcast, the RMR Podcast Network, the New York Cannabis Pod, the New Jersey, all these different shows that we do, I constantly am hearing about issues for high-risk banking and the compliance side of taking card payments. But Shield Compliance recently rolled out an expanded platform for high-risk business banking, including cannabis companies and money service businesses. This expanded set of tools is designed to help operators, banks, and financial partners better manage onboarding, monitoring, and risk in an environment where federal access to traditional banking remains super restricted. You guys might remember that in December, there was an executive order directing federal agencies to reschedule marijuana from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3. It does not fully legalize the plant at federal level. And so all of that is still in the implementation process. Internationally, the United Nations International Narcotics Control Board has weighed in, noting that any national changes should align with international drug control conventions and continued emphasis on medical and scientific purposes as states implement changes. So we have this United Nations International Narcotics Control Board, and they're weighing in, telling our country, saying, yo, any of these changes that you guys do in the US, those should align with international drug control. Like whatever we're doing internationally, we should try to align as best as we can with those things. Continuing the emphasis on medical and scientific purposes is huge. I think that's fair. I think it's fair. Last but not least, on the cannabis side of things, folks, Respect My Region and I are super excited to announce Catalyst All-Star Weekend here at the Catalyst Hawthorne Lounge. I'm sitting in it right now. It's a beautiful space. We have 4 different events going on. We have a Terp Social Industry meets customer session powered by Cannabiotics, Thursday from 4 to 8. The lounge is open from 3 to 9. On Friday, we have the Catalyst All-Star Showcase. That's February 13th. We're having multiple brands pull up and pop out for tastings. It's a rookie versus sophomore NBA All-Star game, pregame party, and watch party that night. That night, we have Sunset Connect on joints, Full Flower out of San Francisco. We've got West Coast Cures on infused joints and rosin. We have M-Juice for vapes from Catalyst, and we are still accepting other vendor partners should anybody be interested, and is currently available at Catalyst. That's going to be phenomenal. That event is going to be from 4 to 8 as well, with the lounge being open from 3 to 9 on Friday. Saturday is Valentine's Day, folks. We have a joint effort comedy show in collaboration with Brennan Weeks, a wonderful host and comedy producer. That we have 4 comedians in addition to Brennan that are all going to be performing. We have Muhammad's as the sponsor that evening. It's going to be a good one, man. I'm super excited. For your question, Barney, though, since I see you're here, I don't know what the schedule is for this week, but I know that the All-Star Weekend, February 12th, is with Cannabiotics. And so that's the one I'm talking about. Sunday, February 15th is the NBA All-Star Game. We'll be watching that here with another watch party in collaboration with B-Ball Watch Club and my friend Lucas Shapiro. Big shout out to Threads for bringing us together. We just had 50 people here last Thursday watching USC women's basketball, University of Washington men's basketball. You know, we had to throw a little bit of UW in the building. And we watched the Timberwolves play the Oklahoma City Thunder for the NBA. And so we'll be doing an official All-Star Game watch party that night. And the sponsor so far for that evening is Sunset Connect, again on the pre-roll. So big shout out to them for taking care of us twice during All-Star Weekend, and to all the brands that are going to be hanging out with us during the first ever Catalyst All-Star Weekend and Catalyst All-Star Showcase, brought to you guys by Respect My Region. I can't wait. For the comedians, Elias Zepeda, Tatiana Gucci, Ed Greer, and Andrew Orofalo, powered by Muhammad's, as I said. It's going to be exciting, folks. Now, to round out today's episode, sports. Last night, the NBA announced the 2026 All-Star Reserves, and the headline is simple. LeBron James is an All-Star. Again, he is going to be playing in the NBA All-Star Game. It's his 22nd All-Star Game. However, he is a reserve, not a starter, and that is the first time ever for LeBron James. The game itself is on Sunday, February 15th, as I said, for our watch party. It takes place at the Intuit Dome, 9 to 10 minutes away in Inglewood, California. It's the home of the Los Angeles Clippers, and it is the first All-Star Game ever hosted there. Now, the part you can actually focus on for this one is that it's not East versus West for this NBA All-Star Game. It's going to actually be the NBA versus it's like international versus the US, which is dope. It's the first one like this. The league is doing a new setup. It's 2 United States teams and 1 world team, and they play a round robin of short games with the best 2 teams advancing. Now, that matters because the NBA has had a lot lower views. The TV ratings are getting worse. For the All-Star stuff specifically. And so we were, as an NBA fan, as somebody who loves basketball, the most exciting that we typically get is the playoffs. The most excitement and the energy and effort that I give is the playoffs. I like the tournament, the Emiratis Cup. That's in the beginning of the season. But we usually the All-Star Game has just gotten a little boring. And so most recently in the last few years, when best basketball fans get super duper excited again, is when the Olympics come around and we get to see the top United States talent play against the international players. And that is where when the United States played France and Wembanyama was on the team and LeBron and this, I want to say back in 2024, that was a super exciting period of time for basketball internationally and as a domestic fan here. And so this expansion is going to be huge. Doing it this way, I think it's going to be great. 2 U.S. teams and 1 world team. I think it's going to be dope. And it's going to be especially dope if that world team beats one of those U.S. teams, or when it's going to beat it. The Eastern Conference reserves include Scotty Barnes, Jalen Duren, Jalen Johnson, Donovan Mitchell, Norman Powell, Pascal Siakam, and Karl Anthony Towns. For the Western Conference reserves, you have Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Anthony Edwards, Chet Holmgren, Jamal Murray, Deni Avdija, I hope I said that right, and LeBron James. Starters for the global world team include Giannis Antetokounmpo, Luka Doncic, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Nikola Jokic, and Victor Wembanyama. Did you just hear that team? The global starters, Giannis, Luka, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Nikola Jokic, and Victor Wembanyama. Oh my God. That is an incredible team. Giannis and Nikola Jokic and Victor Wembanyama. So Nikola Jokic 6'10", Victor Wembanyama 7'3" or 7'6". I don't even know. Giannis Antetokounmpo is like 7 foot or 7'1", and then you got Luka and Shai at the guards. And what's crazy is Nikola Jokic is basically a point center. He can dribble the ball down, and Luka is going to dribble the ball down. So you're going to have Luka dribbling the ball down, Nikola dribbling the ball down. Shai's going to run around and play shooting guard, and then they're going to post up. You got Victor and Giannis down low. This is nuts. A 6'10" small forward, Nikola Jokic? What? It's crazy. A couple of the notable snubs. The Clippers are hosting, right, from the stadium standpoint. Kawhi Leonard didn't make it. No James Harden. No, zero Clippers on the All-Star. I think that's crazy. But it's real. It's real. What I'm typing in right now is I want to know who the starters are for the NBA All-Star teams, because I was looking this up earlier, and this was the one thing I forgot to do before we started. So I want to see what it says, because that starting team, Giannis, Jokic, Shai, Luka, Wembanyama. Okay, so they haven't announced. Oh, they're going to announce it tomorrow. So they haven't announced Team USA 1 or Team USA starters yet. They're going to be revealed tomorrow at 4 p.m. PST, Tuesday. All we know. Yeah, this is going to be dope. This is dope. I'm excited, man. I'm excited to watch this and see how this All-Star game goes, man. Like a tournament model, I think that's fire. Now, folks, the trade deadline for the NBA is Thursday, February 5th at 3 p.m. Eastern, aka noon PST. We've had some interesting trades so far. We just had Dennis Schroeder was traded. I want to say it's his 8th team since 2021. And I believe in 2021, he turned down an $84 million extension, and now he's been traded 8 times. It's just crazy. He's a great player, too. He's a hooper. He plays really good defense. He does do some bonehead stuff sometimes, but that's because his energy and effort, he just has a motor that doesn't stop. And I rock with that. And recently, he didn't let Luka get away with disrespect. He actually, I believe he got suspended a game, or maybe he got fined or something, but he literally slapped Luka in the face for comments about not taking the money. Tonight, February 2nd, the schedule's kind of light. ESPN has New Orleans at Charlotte, 3 p.m. Eastern. That's noon. Houston at Indiana at 7 p.m. Eastern, plus Minnesota at Memphis later. It was crazy watching Miami versus Chicago the other night, 134-91. Just destroyed them. It's crazy. From a college basketball standpoint, the beginning of February means that the countdown to March Madness officially begins. Number 19th ranked Florida smoked number 23 Alabama 100-77. Alex Condon had 25 points with 7 boards and 6 assists. Florida's pace and pressure basically turned into a track meet Alabama did not want to participate in. Number 9 Illinois came back to beat number 5 Nebraska 78-69, and that win tied Illinois for the Big Ten lead with an 11-game winning streak in that run. Number 12 Purdue snapped a 3-game skid by crushing Maryland 93-63 with Flesher Lawyer dropping 29 and hitting 7 threes. Now, today's AP Top 25, the top of the poll has Arizona at number 1, UConn at number 2, Michigan at 3, Duke at 4, Nebraska at 5. College basketball women, always an exciting topic for me. I'm a fan. I watch basketball if it's on TV, and I prefer women's college basketball over men's college basketball at this point. Number one, UConn stayed undefeated and ran number 15, Tennessee, out the building, 96-66. That's a 30-point dub. Ozzie Fudd scored 27. UConn extended its win streak to 39 games. Holy cow. Number two, UCLA beat number 8 Iowa 88-65. LSU blew out Alabama 103-63. UConn is still the unanimous number one. UCLA is clearly number two. Then it's South Carolina. Then it's Texas. Then it's LSU up to number 5. Louisville rising to number 6. It's its best ranking in 4 years. We also are 6 days away from the Super Bowl. This is media week. The Patriots and the Seahawks arrived in the Bay Area on Sunday, flying into San Jose ahead of Super Bowl LX in Santa Clara. Reuters has both teams landing and then heading into opening night with the media day today. You guys can watch that on ESPN and probably NFL Network. The matchup, as I've said the last 2 weeks, is New England versus Seattle. The kickoff time is listed as February 8th at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. That's going to be 3:30 p.m. Pacific Standard. The Seahawks are looking like they got a really good chance. The Patriots, they're there again. It's a whole different regime. It's a whole different Seahawks like team than before. Everything has changed. The NFL has shifted. My pick, I'm going to go with the Seahawks because I really hate the Patriots a lot more at the end of the day. And I did used to live in Seattle. So if the Seahawks win, it's going to be crazy for all my friends. And I'm excited for them if that happens. The NFL Honors is this Thursday, February 5th as well. It's being held at the Palace of Fine Arts in San Francisco. That's super dope. I've actually been over there and smoked a joint underneath that and walked around. So that's exciting and dope for them. The MVP finalist pool, Drake May, Josh Allen, Matthew Stafford, Trevor Lawrence, and Christian McCaffrey. I think Matthew Stafford's going to win, but I think Drake May is the sleeper. So that'll be interesting. We've got a lot of great things coming up, folks. I'm super excited again for the first ever Respect My Region Times Catalyst All-Star Weekend Showcase. Thursday, Terp Social with Cannabiotics. Friday, the Catalyst All-Star Showcase with Sunset Connect, West Coast Cure, and M Juice from Catalyst. And then on Saturday, we've got the Joint Effort Comedy Show from 6 to 8 p.m. The lounge is open from 3 until 9. And then on Sunday, the lounge is open from 12 to 8. I believe we're doing yoga in the morning. And then we have the official All-Star Game watch party here. Well, it's an unofficial watch party here, but we're going to be watching the official All-Star Game on TV. Big shout out to the NBA and the Clippers and the Intuit Dome and everybody just doing anything for All-Star Weekend, man. It's super dope. I appreciate you guys all for watching. This was another episode of The Morning Joint. I'm Joey J. Ping, and this episode was shot at the Catalyst Hawthorne Dispensary and Consumption Lounge. I love y'all, and we'll see you on the next episode. Peace.